What is up, my lovely people in Blue Tablet land? So for today's video, guys, I'm going to be drawing y'all this greenish, gooey looking drum with slime coming all out of it. And if that's something you guys are interested in and would like to draw along, stick around and let's get started. So this green, gooey drum of slime and all the green gooiness that goes on in it was one of the prompts and ideas for the Inktober that my daughter and I had done on Instagram. And I think when I came to this prompt, I was like, what can I possibly draw that would signify the whole green goo and the the toxicity of it. And my immediate thought was the movie, I think it was either A Wrong Turn, I don't know if it was the first or the second part, but there was this one scene where there was some sort of a drum that had tipped over at this abandoned warehouse, and there was this green stuff that was just flowing out of it and kind of going into the river or the stream that was right next to it. So it kind of signifies the whole thing of the green stuff was toxic, obviously, and that was what was causing the supposed inbreds, or whatever they want to call them, mountain people, to get deformed and pretty much the whole storyline for that movie. So when I first started out with the initial rough sketch of this drawing back in 2023, I kind of just scribbled out a drum, and I just kind of made it look like really jagged and kind of like looked like it had been bent and kind of like thrown around. So that's what I was trying to accomplish and get this what I wanted the final piece or the illustration to look like. So I thought to myself, I was like, how can I possibly get the whole green goo to be part of this whole illustration? So I was like, maybe there could be the green goo kind of flowing out of it or leaking through it through the cracks that had formed over the years of how long this drum had been sitting at this warehouse. And then I kind of looked at, I think maybe some posts on Pinterest, and I just typed in green goo or slime or whatever. Initially, I was first thinking about doing Slimer from Ghostbusters, who's also coincidentally the same kind of green. But then I was like, nah, it's probably already been done. And then trying to think, what else was I thinking? I was thinking of maybe I could draw like some sort of a monster coming out of this green goo. But then I was like, yeah, that also is very predictable. So I was like, let me stick with this drum and do that as the illustration. So for this part over here, I drew out this label which has the skull. And obviously when you see skull and a label, it's obviously something hazardous or hazmat related. So I figured that would also kind of tie into the whole story behind what the illustration was going to be like. So when I started these illustrations back at the beginning of this month, I always had to keep reminding myself for everyone I start to keep it simple, not to overly complicate it. And I tried my very best to make them beginner friendly, but for some odd reason, my brain always lets me do stuff where it is somewhere in between. It's not superly easy or superbly easy or that complicated, but as I said, I always have to tell myself and speak in my inner voice, keep it simple so that people can follow along. So here for the colors, I pretty much just looked at green kind of slime and goo online, and I kind of found this one illustration which I liked, and I used the greens from that. And then for the drum, I kind of had this almost like a greenish kind of a, I don't know what exactly this color is, but it was close enough to where the green kind of has a good contrast against it. So I just thought I'd use that. And what I wanted to do is I wanted to really emphasize the green part of the goo, which would be the highlight of the whole illustration, and then make the label of the skull in a beige color, and then just try the shading and see how it looks in the 30%. Sometimes I do it in 30 and then sometimes I do it in 40. It all depends on the illustration, as I've said in the previous ones. The colors also over here, you can pretty much make the goo in any color you want. You could have made it purple, you could have made it yellow, and because I labeled it as green, I figured makes sense to keep the goo also green. The thing what I enjoy most about the whole shading process is the ability to take an illustration that looks flat and then somehow magically change it to look 3D. Like now for this shadowing, what I'm doing over here for the skull, it'll almost look like there was some sort of in-depth, kind of like an embossed look going on for the skull. So I think it's amazing how just changing up a color a little bit can give you that illusion of the illusion of depth. And when you talk about depth, my favorite drawings to do have always been in perspective, where you kind of give the illusion again that that there is this whole perception of depth going on the page, where I think it was in my illustrations that I had done prior to this whole Halloween theme series, where I'd done some a hot dog stand and then some sort of a restaurant, and I kind of had a whole lot of fun doing those. I'm kind of excited on this channel that I get to share my different art related ideas and illustrations with y'all, because originally back in 2021, maybe I want to say, this channel was actually supposed to be a vlog channel, in where I wanted to kind of use my car at the time and just vlog and go to different places and just kind of tell you my experience of visiting these particular places and kind of going in that aspect. But I'm kind of glad that I kind of revamped it and made it an art channel, because on this channel, and the goal is to just share different art stories. And unlike my other channel, Blue Cranium, which is just completely dedicated to skeleton art and anything skulls or in that nature, this one is not just geared towards one thing. So whatever I put on this channel, is totally up to me, and in regards to the art, and if you guys have suggestions, which I've also asked you in many other videos, let me know, and I will try to see what is it that I can find where it's a happy medium, so everybody can learn, enjoy, and just have a good time creating and drawing. When it comes to shading, not just this illustration, but anything that I've done in the past or going forward that I will do, I like that it always presents an opportunity to try something new that you may have learned, maybe from seeing another artist draw, or maybe you've seen some sort of illustration that was drawn and you wanted to figure out how you could possibly redo it or duplicate it in your style. So whenever I illustrate anything, I always try to see what is it that I can incorporate to each illustration that it makes it different from the one that I did prior to this. For this one, actually, I kind of wanted to really go all out and illustrate the goo, and I kind of really wanted to have it where it would be kind of like 3D, and the whole point of doing that was just to pretty much practice and get good at it. Because now for this, if I wanted to make the actual thing look 3D, it would be just a variation of different greens and some darks and or darker shades of the green, and then using some sort of a blend layer to blend the colors in, so that way it didn't show up as kind of the solid colors and the light colors. Almost has that vector kind of a theme to it. which I kind of like also how when you look at vector art, there is a definite variation in the aspect of how shading is done. Because I mean, you can definitely tell which is the darker shade of the color and which is the lighter. But when you use like a blend brush and do it in raster, it has that nice smooth kind of a cool airbrush kind of look to it. And I know that Procreate under the library does have these what is it called, the airbrushes, and I've tried those or the look of those in other illustrations that I did in the past, or when I first got my tablet for the very first time. And I liked how the look came out. It was not a what do you call it, like a definite shadow look, but it was more like a supple kind of like a what do you call it, it was kind of a better inclination of where the shadow is. And I don't know why I'm talking about shadows so much, but you get the point. Just kind of have fun doing these, and I really hope you guys have fun as well, and kind of share your art on maybe Instagram or something, and tag me in it, so that way I can see what is it you guys have done. But for the most part, I mean, I'm kind of excited to do the other illustrations that I have lined up for you guys, and I hope there is no deviation from the plan in order to get those videos out to you guys. And what else? Halloween, what can I say? It's a fun time of the year where you can get to be anything you want for one whole night of horror, fun, excitement. I remember the good old days when in college, when we used to go for these Halloween parties, and how everybody was dressed in these different costumes. I kind of just went to the party. I mean, I didn't really dress up. I mean, I know you were supposed to, but I kind of wanted to just go and see what is the big hype, and see what is all the costumes that different people or people at the party were going to dress up as. So for this part over here, for the highlights, I tried it with the white, and I actually selected that white because I don't know why that white looked really nice and bright compared to the one I did choose, and kind of wanted to give the goo that nice glowy kind of like that radioactive feel to it, so to make it really look like that it's kind of like this hazardous green liquid that's just kind of oozing from everywhere. And I think something about the green color conveys that whole storytelling of like, this liquid is not pure and just has got that nice Halloween theme. I think, what is it? I think in maybe one of the, yes, the movie Predator, when Arnold kind of fires away at the actual alien species, his blood ends up being this kind of a green. And what's kind of cool is, I mean, like it shows it all, or it shows up in the forest, so it's kind of cool. And I don't know why I thought about that, but that's kind of my thought when it comes to this whole green color. But anyway, guys, I'm not going to go ahead and do the entire highlights on this. It'll probably be something that I do after this video is done. So thanks for following along, and I hope you all enjoyed this, and I will see you all in the next video. Bye for now.